You're listening to the Mind Your Business podcast, episode number 35. Today's episode is another listener's question of the week, where we're going to dive deeper on the topic of finding the time to build your business when you have outside commitments and variables. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm James Wedmore, and I've built a 7-figure internet business that offers the financial freedom to do what I want when I want. And I'm the first to say that hard work and hustle are not essential ingredients for your success. So, how do you build a thriving business from the inside out? This is the Mind Your Business podcast, featuring myself and co-host Phoebe Mroczek. Okay, welcome back, listeners. James Wedmore here.
I'm Phoebe Mroczek.
And this is another listener question of the week. And I think we've got a good one for you. This is really in response to the episodes we've put out on the Time Chronicles. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's been a good series of episodes. It kind of gets people to think a little bit. I don't know. What do you think?
I've loved these episodes. These have been, I think, probably my favorite to do, because just as we're talking it out, I get to... I think people think that we're the ones like giving all this information. And really, to me, I'm gaining so much from this. So I feel I've been more productive. And I love a couple of the questions that have come in have been specifically about the Time Chronicles. So I'm excited to get into this one today.
Yeah. And, I look at, especially when I saw this question asked, I look at when and this is so counterintuitive to what most people do. It's counterintuitive to how I used to act, is that when I feel myself getting overwhelmed or too busy, like too much is on the to-do list, I stop working. Mm-hmm. And that's very counterintuitive. And I think that's where this content and this message has led me thus far on my path. Is that's not a message, I need to work harder to get it all done and make it all work. But that's a message of saying, I'm putting too much on my plate, or I'm trying to cram too much in. Let's stop that. Let's train the brain and the soul and the DNA of a better and easier way. Okay. And so, yeah, it's very counterintuitive. And some of this stuff is just... it's hard because it deals in the non-physical. It deals in the energy and the vibration and all this woo-woo stuff. I think our question today is really a great insight into, how do you do this when you got all these things here in reality? So this is a question from Maggie Patterson. So Maggie, thank you so much for the question. It's a phenomenal one, and I really hope we have a good conversation around it here today. So here's Maggie's question.
So Maggie said, I'm loving this series on time, but I've got a big question about this. In general, I feel I'm a good manager of my time, and I do my best to be productive in the time I've got. But, and please don't read this as an excuse or limiting belief, because it's a straight up fact, my time isn't always in my control as a wife and mother. Yes, I can choose my relationship to it, but I do think the fact that there's always a deadline, always an end time, always a start and stop that influences how time and I hang together. I do my best to be mindful where I'm at, but I can't help but wonder how our relationship to time is shaped by outside forces or the stage of life we're in. I'd love your thoughts, as this question came up for me in a big way while listening to this episode, and I'm sure other moms and dads, or really anyone with big commitments, may be wondering about this too. Thank you so much.
Okay. So I believe this is a big question for a lot of reasons. So again, thank you. I really appreciate it, Maggie. And I know that this is what a lot of other listeners are thinking when I'm talking about things like you are the source of time and you can change your relationship with time. And they say, yeah, except for the fact that I've got a screaming baby, or I've got to take the kids to soccer practice, or whatever, right? So the first thing I want to say before I get into this is I am not a parent. Okay. Now that might have me lose all credibility with what I'm about to say, but and that's fine. I get that. I understand. But I also understand about what you're experiencing in the terms that a lot of my friends, including my little sister, just had a baby. I know what the time commitment is like. I know what it does to you, from a sleep schedule to how many hours you have in the day, to really creating an experience where you feel like you don't even have freedom of doing anything that you want, right? That your life becomes around your children. I get that. I don't take that lightly. As someone who doesn't have kids right now in my life, I don't be like, oh, come on, figure it out, right? I do, however, want to offer a few things. I do want to create a conversation around this. I do want to address this. And I am requesting that at least Maggie and maybe others out there just keep an open mind. Just stay open despite, here's this kid who, he's got all day, right? And be coachable in order to just let what I say lands for you and actually be willing to kind of let go of what you say or how it shows up for you right now. But I can only imagine that may not be easy, okay? Especially when I hear Maggie's comment that I don't see this as a belief, but rather as a fact. So if I say something that's contrary to what you perceive as fact, I just can assume that you're immediately going to reject it. So my request is that during this call, you just say that anything could, aliens exist and giant 6-foot rabbits exist, right? And then you can remove that as a, no, that doesn't happen. That doesn't exist. Those giant rabbits don't exist at the end of the call, right? But either way, here is something that I do see as a fact for you, Maggie, and for all of us. When time isn't in your control, like when you have to manage it or when you don't have enough of it, you feel a lack of power, which comes off in your question, that there are these external variables that you have to deal with. I can imagine that in those moments when you have to pick up the kids or you got to tend to the baby or whatever, that in those moments right now, you're feeling a lack of power. And my goal for Maggie and anybody else who feels like they really resonate with what Maggie's saying is not to argue with you, to, get you to give up anything, but rather for you to feel powerful 100% of the day, 100% of your time, no matter what is going on. That is the distinction. That is the difference. You can hold on to anything you want, but when we're holding on to something that continues to make us feel powerless, there's an opportunity for us to feel powerful or to have more power. If that's your goal as well, to feel powerful, to feel in control, feel more power, a sense of power, then I invite you to keep listening so we can just play around with this. Okay. So here we go. So I come from a belief, and this, dips into the spiritual, non-physical woo-woo-ville of a, like an old phrase that some people have heard before, which is as within, so without, right? Which simply put, simply means that the external world is really a mirror. It simply reflects our inner world. By inner world, I mean the thoughts, the feelings, and emotions, right? So what's going on externally tends to indicate what's going on internally. What's internally tends to manifest what's going on externally. So it's a mirror, like if you go to the bathroom at a restaurant, you look in the mirror and you realize you have broccoli in your teeth, you just say, oh, good, I can go get a toothpick. And we can approach life the same way of man, this thing keeps showing up for me. Maybe we can address something internally, right? So that's where I like to go from. So, and again, that might be hard to hear as well based on what you've said in your comment, right? Because you're describing these as all external outside forces. It's it can't be me. It's not me. It's these things that I don't have any control of. But when you say you don't have control of anything, well, you don't have very much say or very much power in that situation. You're kind of just got to be blown by wherever the wind takes you. You're just a victim to whatever the circumstances of life are. And really, again, my goal is to get you to be powerfully intentional in every moment of your life. Okay, so there's a phrase as well, what resists persists, right? What you resist persists. If you push against something, you have to acknowledge that it's there. So the more we say there is this external thing that I don't have control over, the more we make that real, the more it becomes so. And I want to offer that these things that you're describing in the question, whether it is specifically these external variables, right? Whether it's when the baby cries, you got to go cook dinner, you got all these responsibilities, you got the chores, you got the things you got to do on the to-do list all day that I know come with being a responsible, committed parent, that what I want to offer is that you're simply resisting these things. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't be doing them. I'm not saying that you don't have to do them. I'm not saying any of that, but that perhaps we're resisting them. At the end of the day, you chose these things at one point in time. If you say that these are commitments, you had to choose to make that a commitment. And these actions that you've taken, to get married and become a parent are things that at one point in your life you chose. And I believe the most powerful thing that we can do right now, that you can do right now in this moment, is to simply choose them again. I believe, where I'm coming from here is that I believe that resisting these experiences that we call external variables, whether they are or not, what I'm talking about is that your experience of them, if it shows up as a resistance, as a reluctance, as a trying to push away or get rid of or get it done or get it off your plate as fast as you can, will only, I guess the word I would use is exacerbate them, right? We'll make them more prevalent, or we'll make it bigger and more prevalent in your life, when the way to get empowered is to choose it. So how do you do this? And this is something you get to try on, and then you can come back and say no, right? And then you can come back and argue. But until you try this, let's just keep the judgments and conclusions. Is the next time you find yourself doing something and your mind goes to the place of, I have to do this thing, but I should be doing that. That's resisting, right? Oh my gosh, I don't have time for this. That is resisting. And we all have examples of this, like, right, like while you're stuck in traffic in your car, especially if you live in California, especially if you live in Southern California, where you're stuck in traffic and you're resisting that you're stuck in traffic. Because what are you doing? You're like, oh my gosh, come on, I need to get there. I'm going to be late. That is resistance. You're pushing against the traffic. You're pushing against the time of not being able to get there. And we're saying it's in external variables. Like there's a million cars in front of you on the 405. And so what you would do in these moments is say something to the effect of like, I choose to be stuck in traffic. I accept that I am in traffic. I am choosing this. And what that can do for you is powerfully put you into the present moment. This is about accepting where you are, and where you are is where you are. And all you have ever, as much as you want to argue it, all you have ever is right now, and right now, and now, right now, in this present moment that's already gone. And you can either choose to accept that as this is where I'm supposed to be, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now in this moment, folding this dirty or cleaning this dirty laundry or putting these clothes away right now. And this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And this is perfect. And this is awesome. And this is it. And I choose this and I accept this. And this is it because this is what I have. Or you can resist it. And I believe that in the acceptance where you will start to feel getting your power back. And I think that when you do that, you create a space where it's no longer an issue. It's no longer a problem. Nothing is a problem. Whether you want to call it an external or an internal variable or whatever, it's still only a breakdown or a problem from a perception, from a choice that you make to call it a problem or to label it as something bad or wrong. So if we just accept it as this is what is, we have an opportunity to not judge or label it and then create something new from there. Okay. And I believe it's in this space that this is where you can get your power back. So if you can get to that place, may not happen the first time, but you want to just keep playing with it without judgment, without rolling your eyes and saying this James guy is crazy. Just give it a shot. Just give it a try for me. And just say, I choose to be doing this thing that I don't want to be doing because I choose to be doing this thing that I don't want to be doing. And there is power in that. But if you can get back to that place of being mindful and being present and accepting where you are as perfect and complete, and not that I should be doing something else, or not that I should do this so that I can go do something else, but that you are fully present in that moment, then, and I believe only then, there is a possibility for you to create a future where you get what you truly want with the resources that you have. In that space, you can declare, you can say, you can create what you really want. And you can tell me right now, yeah, I don't buy it, James. Fair enough. And I will say, I do buy it because I do this all the time. I'm human. I'm not perfect. I have breakdowns. I get frustrated. I have times when I go, oh my God, there's not enough time in the day and blah, blah, blah. But I have this as a tool. I have this as something in my quiver that I can come back to. And I'm inviting you to try it on. But you can say, I don't buy it, James. This won't work. And that's fine. But here's something that we can both agree on. If you don't think that you can get the results that you want in your life, whether it's build a business or start a business or make more money or whatever, with the limited time and the external variables that you have, if you stand in a place right now where you just don't think you can get those results because you have these external variables, then you won't. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. I believe that when we make these decisions, which are beliefs, that we then can make those beliefs as strong as facts, that we then look for evidence to support those facts. And that's why I'm really asking you to just stay so open that it's not an attack on your belief system, your values, who you are as a person. That ego will start to come up and say, no, because this is what I believe. And so it's fact, because the ego doesn't ever want to be made wrong. But I want to invite you and everybody else listening to welcome miracles in your life. And a miracle isn't really a miracle. A miracle is just something that happens despite the beliefs that you may hold. Like, oh, this could never be possible. There are things I do today that if I told, old James, past James from 8 years ago, these are like common things for me today. 8 years ago, James would say, you are a miracle worker. How are you define the laws of the world? And it's just because over time, through experience and training my brain, I let go of a lot of beliefs that I was raised on, a lot of things that I thought these are facts and these are the ways that it has to be. Anybody listening can choose to resist what I'm saying and say, no, these are facts. This is how my life is. I don't want to argue. I don't want to argue with anybody. But I also believe that anything is possible. I also believe that you can get what you truly want, what truly matters to you, no matter what. No matter what. So I do invite you to invite miracles to show up into your life. Don't let me prove you wrong, because that's not what I'd ever want to do, but let yourself prove yourself wrong. Look for evidence contrary to these facts. Look for miracles to defy what you believe as true. So if you're still with me, it's a two-step process. Whenever you're just not feeling it, you're doing something that's consuming your time, taking you out of your zen. It's because the thing is, and Maggie, I do want to commend you. Like you said in your comment, I do my best to be present and mindful where I'm at. I mean, that's awesome. Let's just keep it going, right? And can we be present and mindful in the moments when we're least present and mindful? That's the only difference, right? Because it's easy to be present and mindful when you first wake up. It's easy to be present and mindful when, your husband surprises you with a babysitter and a surprise romantic sunset dinner, and you're just staring off into the sunset. But where it becomes a challenge for us to be present and mindful is the time we have to do those things that we have to do because we chose a commitment in our lives and we're begrudgingly doing them. That's where it can become so challenging because it goes against what we want to do. We want to wriggle our way out of it. We want to fight it, resist it. I just want to get this over. I don't want to be doing this. I need to be going back to what I'm supposed to be doing. And when we can be mindful in those moments, wow. When we can bring our practice, our mindfulness into those moments, you're just going to continue to have more and more experience of being powerful all day long. And so hopefully I was able to have something land for you, Maggie, in that first step in looking for choosing the moment, whatever moment that is that you're in, accepting it, but really choosing it as being perfect for what it is. And then when you feel that, when you feel like in control, this is the opportunity you have to create your future from this moment. Because that's all you have. It's all you have. Past is gone and the future never comes. So you only have right here. The moment the future comes, it's the past, right? So you just have this right now and right now and right now. So Maggie, thank you for the phenomenal question. Thank you for, having the courage to speak your concerns and where you're at. I invite all of it, because I never want this to come from a place of, no, this is the way it has to be. I see a lot of that on Facebook, right? I know, Phoebe, you know what I'm talking about, where everyone has, this is the way it has to be, and everyone else is wrong. And I hope that having an initial episode talking about your relationship on time isn't to make other people wrong. All it is it's a discussion for us to get us to think, to observe ourselves, and to learn a little bit about who we are and where the lessons are. And Maggie, I think you did that, and you came back with where you're at. And it allowed me to go a little deeper with you, to not say that you're wrong or bad for having a belief or having it be a fact or having to be a mom with courageous commitments of the utmost kind. Putting the well-being of another human before your own is, to me, the ultimate commitment, where like their very survival depends on you. Where all I want to get us to is to remind you that this is all what you chose and you created that. And that's a great thing. That's a phenomenal thing. That's an absolutely outstanding thing. And continue to remind yourself, continue to declare that this is what you choose, this is what you chose, and this is what you're going to continue to choose. And I believe you can find more power in that. So I hope some of this lands for you. And again, I thank you for sharing this and starting this conversation. I think it was great. So yeah. And if it brings up any other questions for people, let us know. mindyourbusinesspodcast.com and submit your questions, your inquiries, your discussion topics so we can share this. This goes deep down the rabbit hole. I mean, this is not, I didn't learn this in high school. After nothing in my life worked, I really got obsessed about why it doesn't work and why we don't learn anything about how to make your life work in school. And just even like the basic stuff, like you don't even learn how to do your taxes in school. That to me, I know I go off on tangents all the time, but that to me blows my mind that the government creates the school system or funds the school system. Why wouldn't they just teach us how to do our taxes the right way? And I don't know. I think that's weird, but there's a lot of things we don't learn. And, I just found stuff that really worked for me and has worked for the people that I have been able to share it. And what fascinates me so much is it's so counterintuitive. It's so contradictory to the normal default way, right? Just like going back to what do you do when there's a lot on your to-do list? Work harder, work longer, get it done. I don't think that's the right way. Maybe sometimes, but I always believe work just creates more work. Go try that with your inbox, right? You have to dedicate that day to getting all this stuff out of your inbox. You spend all day answering all your emails. You get it down to 0. You're all proud of yourself. Next morning, everyone replied. Mm-hmm. And you're right back where you were. Work creates work. Anyways, this is a fantastic conversation topic. So thank you guys again so much for listening. Just a reminder, we're now at 2 episodes per week. So if you're hearing this one, this is our second weekly installment, our listener question of the week. Every Monday, Phoebe and I release a new episode, usually about 40 minutes to an hour on one specific topic. Topics like managing time, emotions, fears, stress, and manifesting. I always love talking about manifesting, cool stuff, cool shit. And then every Thursday, we answer one of our listener questions of the week. And those are a little bit shorter episodes, a little bit shorter, but still just as valuable. So make sure to catch us on both of our episodes. Thank you to all those who have been binge listening. That's my favorite thing. And I appreciate all you guys leaving reviews over on iTunes. If you haven't left a review yet, head on over to jameswedmore.com/iTunes so you can do that now. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Are you frustrated that no matter how hard you hustle, no matter how much you get done in a day, you still feel like you have little results to show for it? Do you feel like you're doing everything right, but there's still something missing? Well, what if there was an easier way? What if your business could be fun, effortless, and profitable? Phoebe and I have put together a free audio MP3 for you, compiling the 77 business affirmations for creating success from the inside out. And we want to give it to you absolutely free. This is your chance to rewire your brain for bigger results in your life and your business. To get instant access absolutely free, simply visit 77affirmations.com. That's the number 77affirmations.com.